Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing, Heather? How are you?
I'm better lately than I
Yeah.
have been. I wonder if it's like, I think I said this before. There's Mars and Cancer, I attribute to a lot of the cranky weirdness I've been feeling lately. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Say that.
I love Aries. I love the sign. I love Cancer. I love the new astrological year, but I really am ready to go into Taurus. I feel like I've been too
Right.
activated.
It's time. It's time
Yeah.
to calm down.
Mm.
It's time to take a deep breath. It's time to get out in that nature. But
Yeah.
it's also time to ride that bull and
Yes.
charge. Just
Yes.
totally in the left lane towards those goals, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, this is Heather Cunningham, the one and only. I said this is like it's me. They can't see unless they're watching. Never mind. Folks, Heather Cunningham just gave us that incredible summary. Me, the one asking questions. I'm Miranda Lenski. You already know. You already know us so well. It's Taurus season, so we're getting cozy with one
Yeah.
another. And this is our 31st episode, Heather. And we're recording the day before we release this, actually. We're not
Yeah.
recording a couple days earlier for a change. So we are actually recording this on the new moon in Aries, the last sort of moments of the sun being in this sign before she moves on into Taurus officially.
Yeah.
Um, just
With
what
the
a
solar
loaded.
eclipse.
Yes, that's right. The
Yeah.
solar eclipse, like just what a loaded, crazy, wacky time.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I was watching. Okay, so this week I've been kind of stressed about whether or not to go through with this big plan that my friend and I have to do this event, a lip sync event. And we had not been planning as well as we should have been, not in Taurus yet. But
But the
yesterday
passion
we
was
kind
there.
of, yeah, the passion was there for sure. But yesterday we kind of had to decide, like, oh my God, are we going to invest in this venue? Do we want to pay the money? Is it too late to do advertising? Are people going to come? Are we going to make the money back? Like, should we even do this? Should we cancel it? Should we do it in our apartment? And then finally we decided, you know what? Let's go all out. The performers are excited. We're going to book the space. We're going
Oh
to
yeah.
get drunk tonight and like get everything ready. And
We're
I
gonna
felt
grab the
really
bull by
good
the
about it. But
horns.
grab the bull by the horns, and we like felt amazing afterward. We're like, oh my God, this is gonna be fun. Like, we're so excited. And this morning, same feeling. And then I watched a YouTube video by Chani Nicholas, which is not one of my favorite astrologers, but lately I've been like giving her a try. But she was like, she was literally like, yeah,
The old
so
Taurus
this
try.
Thursday is the start of eclipse season. And, I always say, don't do anything when eclipses happen. Lay low. Don't do anything. Don't do anything big. Don't do anything you wouldn't normally do. And I'm like, fuck.
Like just saying it's maybe energetically, emotionally
Like, very
charged.
charged. But I feel like I always lean
Feel like you
into
could lead with
these new
emotion.
moons and eclipses and shit. Like, I'm
Yeah.
always like, you know what? Let's
Did they
spice things
more
up.
right? Or I'm like, yeah, let's do something really spontaneous.
Yeah, let's lean into
Let's make
it.
a
Yeah.
crazy choice.
Right.
No, but were they more saying it from a place of fear of spontaneity or like leading with emotion in terms of action? Like, did they
She
more
didn't
mean
really
like,
elaborate.
well, that's
Um,
fucking
I know.
difficult to
I know.
analyze,
I know. I'm like, why?
folks? You'll have to
Um,
ask.
yeah, yeah. But yeah. So now I'm a little scared, but
Right.
I don't
No,
think astrology should be a fear thing.
it
So it's
shouldn't. And
whatever.
also, like, that's one person's opinion. And I feel like there's a
Exactly.
lot of ways to interpret that. Just like the listeners, I'm sure, don't listen to half the shit we warn them against. No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, I also just, how could this not be such a loaded time? And yeah, maybe it's like this person in particular was like, stay away from scary emotional actions or things that you could regret later. But in terms of this being a super loaded big time, it does not feel like a time to sit on your ass by any
No,
means.
I don't think it is. And
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
feel that in my
right.
body.
I think this absolutely, like, even if it's, and yeah, maybe you don't have to necessarily have like an innate reaction right now to the big movements, but this definitely feels like a time to be thinking of some bigger
Yeah.
shit, some bigger plans, just like bigger things ahead. We're going
Mm-hmm.
into this Taurus. We're launching off the second new moon in Aries, and then the sun is going right into Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about this earlier, Heather. It like
Mm-hmm.
blew my mind to think about the fact that Taurus is right after Aries. It's the Earth sign right after that innate, or that initial first fire
Fire.
sign of the official, yes, first
Yeah.
we're kicking off the new year, right?
Yeah.
And Aries, as I was reminded, is the ram, right? It's the
Right. Right.
symbol of the ram. And then we move into Taurus, the earth sign, and it's a bull.
I know. That is so
And
wild.
that's really interesting to me. And even just like kind of like relearning that before we were like, as we were just catching up and like before we recorded officially, I was like, I was like, wait a minute, that reminds me so like what a similar, they're completely different elements, but what similar symbols they have in
Yeah.
terms of sort of, and like in their lineup specifically right next to each other. And I
Yeah.
was like, what two signs does that remind me of? Aquarius and Pisces, just
Right.
like sort of what we were discussing. And then we talked about Aquarius being the water bearer, and then
Mm-hmm.
the air sign that immediately goes into uh Pisces, which is water and the symbol of the fish. And I find
Mm-hmm.
it so fascinating that Aquarius, the air, the last of the airs, but also the second to last sign,
Yeah.
Aquarius and Pisces have this weird sort of, they kind of hold a lot of symbolism for each other. They
For
almost
sure.
like kind of like
Blend
are
into
it's
each
like
other in a
they're
way.
definitely like cousins or like
Yeah.
really good best friends. You know, I'm not maybe they're not quite soulmates, but there's an understanding there that's like
For sure.
whatever we're talking about, you know, like there's a weird connection that from studying astrology I've seen more, learned more. And then the fact that they're the last two signs and they're at the very end of the astrological year. And then boom, we go the first very two signs of the astrological new year. And then they have this also weird twin symbolism. And then
Mm-hmm.
all four of those together being the last two of the
And the first
astrological,
two.
and then the first two, and it's the all four elements represented there. Really interesting. Kind
Yeah.
of, I can't believe that just now stood out to me, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also can.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
No, it is really, really cool. It is really cool. Yeah, the ram and the bull thing is interesting because
they're
yeah,
almost
we were
the
saying
same.
they're almost the same. I almost don't even know how to tell them apart, except that I know that rams have the spiky horns that
Mhm.
are literally used to fight.
Right.
And it's more of a aggressive energy. Whereas the bull,
It's like
but
what
the
it's built
bull,
on, like the aggressive nature, like the whole Rams
right,
whole deal is like that's why God gave me these fucking curly cues.
right,
Like,
the fighting
yeah.
spirit,
And the bull
totally.
has horns as well,
Yeah, but
but not designed in terms of its, and the bull, a bull feels like it gets aggressive when it's poked more than
yeah,
it's just looking
yeah.
for trouble all the time.
Yeah, isn't there like a cliche, like isn't
That's what the bull,
a
you'll get the
stubborn bull or
horns.
something? Yeah, what are these sayings? Yeah, what did you just say?
You
The
mess with the bull, you'll get the horns. That's from The Breakfast Club.
Oh,
You
yeah,
mess with the
yeah.
bull, young man, you'll get the horns.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
love
feel
that.
like yeah, there's some truth to that where like Aries is a little bit more easily activated. Taurus,
It's like
it's
in the
like
nature to be like, I'm, I'll fight for what's mine. I'll fight for my own. I'll fight for
Mhm.
myself. Like Aries is such an awakening and such a, Aries feels so alert to just like what's right and what's theirs and what's maybe their job if it's someone else's, or, you know,
Yeah.
like it's very, that to me totally checks out for Aries, and it being like so bold in the first of like must like assert my dominance, must like to me the ram makes so much sense. It's fire. It's
Yeah.
like I will be seen, I will be heard, um and or there, or you will be challenging me, like, or you're going against the grain, essentially you're going
Right.
against that element in such a strong way.
Yeah.
Whereas earth, I think the whole idea too, if Taurus was the ram, it would almost be a little off-putting because of the fact that it's earth. And I think it's a little more of like, it's sort of this idea of like it still possesses that, but without having, it's just not fire. The element is earth. So therefore it's interesting that it still possesses a lot of Aries qualities. Taurus does.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but also specifically in the symbolism of the bull and the ram. But it's like there's Aries is also a little more with the flow. It's more about like charging it. And I think Aries is a little more like it's getting there. Charging it.
No, I
just like
understand.
the focus, you know, like the red
yeah.
flags that they're waving, or the red like towels and shit like that. Like that to me is Taurus. Yeah,
totally.
It's a bull towards its destination, and that's sort of what Taurus season encompasses for me, at least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't know if you feel this as Taurus rising, but like I resonate as a Taurus moon with, Taurus is the fixed earth sign.
Right.
I definitely do feel like fixed in a lot of ways. Like you cannot easily I'm open-minded, I think, and like I'm an Aquarius, but like when I am set on a path, I am set on that path. Like I can be very disciplined and stubborn. Or like,
what I think there is a phrase of stubborn, like a stubborn bull,
right? Like, a
bull in a china shop. No, that's not it. But yeah, I do hear what you're saying. Like, set in like, and it's from a passionate place. If it's like, this is what we're doing, this is what we're focusing on. And again, that's to me why it's so funny that Taurus and Aries are next to each other like this, and then literally symbolize each other in their, even though they're completely different elements. It's like, that's absolutely meant to be paid attention to, exactly the way Pisces and Aries is.
I think so.
Everyone always, or excuse me, Aquarius. And it's so funny that Aquarius is Aquarius, like aqua, is literally in the name, and the actual symbol is water, right? Or the water bearer. In a way that just feels like that is like a twin or a mate of Pisces, or it feeds into each other.
Yeah.
Again, it's like Aries is this time that we're really aligned with those things that fucking fuel us, the things that we would fight for, the things that like, it's like, what would you fight for? What are you willing to like not sacrifice for what it is? Like, get clear on that, because like this is the way, right? Like, we have horns, and it's our nature is to fight for the shit we really want. So you better get clear on what it is, because there's no point in fighting this hard for something that's not, you don't actually want or care about. And then it feels like Taurus is this beautiful time of like earth, while still holding that Aries fire, right? And that Aries energy of the ram by being the bull. But we've got a destination in sight a little bit now that we're running towards. Arging towards, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a China shop to get to.
China shop. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's also interesting that Mars rules Aries and Venus rules Taurus. And it's like the two major personal planets. It's the planet of the masculine archetype, and then the planet of the feminine archetype, back to back. And that Mars deals with drive and just like, what you're willing to fight for. But then Venus is about what you desire, what you want, what you want to attract, what you're attracted to. So it's interesting too that like the planet, the energy of like fighting comes before recognizing what you really desire. I don't know, that this is a thought I'm just having for the first time. But
no, it is.
But I think Taurus's passion is fueled by, I want it. Like when Taurus wants something, it's like, I want it. Like, and I will do the hard work for it, and I will put in the labor, and I'll take my time. Right. And there's like, there is a firiness to it, but it's way more. I'm going to methodically plan this and take my time and get there.
Yep.
Exactly.
No, it's a beautiful thing. And again, like we're starting it's a fresh astrological new year. So no matter what, you're going through that Aries fire. So naturally we take the element we sort of just spent time in. Yeah. And it feels like this year, more than anything, we're supposed to be taking the previous element in. Yes. So it's extra fun to kind of sort of see this for the first time, I'm realizing. Yeah. And figure this, like sort of recognize that, like that pattern. And that's interesting too. Just like, especially the way that those two also coexist and line up with Pisces and Aquarius, and how we just did that with those signs. And I don't know, maybe as we continue to scoot down, we'll keep seeing it. But like, I just, never ever has it felt more important or more necessary that you will be taking the element of whatever sign we were just in, because of how the new moons now are scheduled out for the whole rest of the astrological new
Right. Good
year.
point, Miranda.
Isn't that
Yes,
interesting?
yes, you're
Thank you,
so
Heather.
right. You're so right. Yeah.
I had a good point.
No, that's
But
so
like,
true.
it's so fun that we're like figuring this out right now, especially at a time that it's like, it feels like you're really extra supposed to utilize that. I know we've
Right.
talked about that before, of like
Yeah.
how we can
Remind the
take this
listeners
sign. Yeah, we've
of
talked about this in
the
the past. Like, you always take this element with you. That's sort of the whole course. It's not like you just like exit an element, now we're in this new one. Like, it's sort of about always, that's the whole point. And then we get to that Pisces, and that's why it's everything from the year we just spent doing. That's why, and like, we're doing this
totally.
reflection, and it's a process of also like, I think, you come from this Pisces reflectiveness to this. I think Aries is so important as fire, because you just do all this Pisces water and reflectiveness, and it's a little bit of everything. Fire, what have we talked about? It literally in nature, forest fires or whatever the fuck, they come through. Natural fires, like now it's kind of a bummer, right? Because there's just, the cost of living's high in California, and then you're building a house right next door to like we get it. But like, in all actuality, it's a beautiful thing in nature, because that fire comes through, and it's like a reset. It's literally nature. It's a cleanse. It's a
Right. Yeah.
beautiful cleanse. And
Yeah.
so we immediately the fact that fire is also the first symbolically is really beautiful in the astrological, because it is such a cleanse. And like, while every year we're learning something, and that's so important, and like, the more you pay attention to the sky, the more you're in tune with it. It's also like, I've never been more in tune with also like, okay, time to let that shit go. Time to really like move on from that, or like, just I really see the elements of like, symbolically, this is where I am, right? It's really it's tripping me up that like, it's fire and it's a cleanse, and like, specifically this new moon and this solar eclipse. Sorry, Heather, not to tangent. I was like,
No,
you told me I had a good point, and now
Yeah,
look at me. I said, okay, maybe I got more. Like, the fact that we're going through this fiery cleanse, getting aligned with your passions, like, let go of that bullshit, getting aligned with like this new moon in Aries the night before Taurus.
It's
The
really
second
crazy. And the
new moon
solar
in
eclipse,
Aries. Yes,
second new
because
moon in Aries, all at the same
and for the
time.
past year, the new moons have been right after the sun has entered, and now they're like right before.
Right.
So it's almost like this year we're being told to take elements of whatever sign we were in into the new one. So like,
Yeah.
to me, this just feels so extra loaded. The solar eclipse, this
Yeah.
double new moon in Aries that's now sort of working the new moons for the rest of the year. And then
Yeah.
how to apply that to Taurus season, especially this year
Totally.
of all years. My goodness.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
It's almost like that's a theme for the entire year that we're supposed to tap into. Like this Aries season of reconnecting with ourselves, understanding our identity, understanding what makes us feel passionate is going to help us connect all the other energy. I feel like I had a thought and now I'm not sure, but you know what I
No,
mean?
I hear you, because as I was talking to, I was like, I am like literally so sober, and I was like, bro, my third eye can't keep up right now.
Sometimes I'm like,
No, but as like, I think yeah, just like, this is really, I think we're both having a moment of like, this is kind of really fun what we just stumbled upon, huh?
I know.
And it's really fun to sort of still be surprised by this shit, or
Yeah, right.
and again, it just goes to show how long you've been studying something, or like you, especially over me, Heather, but like the things that surprise us with astrology,
my
or there's always
God.
something new to learn. It feels like, even if you've been looking at something, like, I've known Taurus and Aries are the ram and the bull, but yet this was like the first time I really applied that, or asked questions about that, really looked into it deeper, which I would have never done had it not been for obviously this entire podcast with you. Now 31 episodes, going into another earth sign. Like, yeah, it's a really beautiful realization. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And I think we're both kind of like, whoa, that wasn't planned.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wait, so the next okay, so the Taurus new moon is going to happen sorry,
I have it in my calendar.
the Taurus because okay, we have the second Aries new moon now. Then we're going to have
Literally tonight. Yep.
a
Wednesday
full
the
moon
19th. A month,
in
exactly a month. Almost 2 months after your birthday, and exactly a month after mine.
oh my goodness.
That has nothing to do with anything. It's just kind of fun. But yeah, so we have the new moon in Aries tonight. Tomorrow, officially, the sun moves into Taurus.
Right,
and then
right.
we have the full moon in Scorpio on the 5th.
Right.
Of
With a
May.
lunar eclipse. That's a lunar eclipse also.
It is. I wrote that down.
Yes,
Thank you for reminding me,
yes.
Heather. Or I put that, it's in my little Google Cal. So I forgot, like, if there's a special one, like for this one, I also put solar eclipse. But yeah, so that full moon halfway through will be in Scorpio. And then we'll have the new moon in Taurus
But at the end of Taurus season.
the 19th of May. And then 2 days later, the sun will be moving into Gemini.
Right, right.
So it's
Yeah.
really, it's like,
so
we're really being guided here this year, just truly how it's lining up. Again, it's rare that we have 2 new moons in one season.
for
And
sure.
we have this double Aries new moon coming in, and then and it's going to completely warp. Like, that's just really, I'm glad we talked about that again and we're reminded about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically that Taurus new moon's going to hit, and then we're going to move right into Gemini.
It's
So like the start of each
oh,
sign is in the last
you're
one.
getting a new surge of Taurus energy right before moving into the new sign.
That's kind of fucking beautiful.
It is kind of beautiful.
It's almost like, because it's like you just practiced.
right. And now you
this
have an
season.
opportunity to like have a
That's
new
really fun.
inspiration with whatever energy you've been practicing.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm
That's
just
really cool.
yeah. I'm really looking forward to this Taurus season altogether.
Me too.
I feel like I've been counting the days.
I know, me
I
too,
love Aries.
lately. I know, don't get me
love
wrong.
Aries. Don't get us wrong. Hey, don't get us wrong about Aries, folks.
Don't at us, Aries.
Don't you dare. You don't even know where we how long Aries and us. All right, sorry. But like truly, I've been counting the days just because it's been a little hot. It's been a little hot.
I know. I'm
been
ready
flying
for
a little too
some.
close, just a little too close to the sun.
Ready for a bath.
My eyebrows gone, scorched. Yeah, I'm just ready for sort of, some doubt. I'm gonna sit in the shade under this tree. I'm gonna read a little book. But it's gonna be a good fucking book.
It is.
It's gonna be an inspirational,
Oh, Miranda, look
influential
at you.
book. It's gonna be a good one. Look at you, Heather. We got good shit on the way. We all do, y'all. We just do.
We do.
And with that,
shall
we get into these charts, Heather?
Let's.
Anyways, the Taurans we have today. I just love this fucking season. I really do. And it's not because I'm biased, because I'm a Taurus rising.
I know.
Or is it?
You're right.
But I also just I have a handful of Taurans in my life. And when I say a handful, every Taurus that I know becomes a very important member of my society.
Yeah.
I really love Taurans. They've made one of my longest, bestest friendships ever is with Christiana, who Heather. And I lived with in college and had known
her
all through high school. We love her to death. That bitch is truly one of the best people on this planet that I know. Shouts out.
Such a Taurus.
Yeah, Taurus as fuck. Taurus to a literal capital T for Taurus. Yeah, I love, and it's I think because of what a bond. It's kind of the same thing with Katie and Aquarius. I'll always have a soft spot, I think, for Aquarian ladies, because I just one of my best friends ever is.
Yeah.
And so it's I almost sense it out and I see it and I think I'm attracted to it. The same way with Taurus. I think Aquarius and Taurus are truly, the signs I have most of my life. And then it's Libra.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
Same.
Kind of those. It's really funny. Anyways, but yeah, Taurus in general is just such a fun earth sign. In a way that it's I love Taurus because it has all the elements of earth while still having fire aspects of it, because it's pinched right after Aries. And it's just it can be such a passionate sign and such a jealous sign, such a little stubborn sign, or I guess that possessiveness can be Taurus, right? We've talked about this.
Totally. And all the earth signs follow fire, but it does feel like Taurus is a little bit more fiery than the other earth signs. I do think
it's the bull.
Yeah, it's the bull. Yeah. And Aries is the most fiery fire sign, so it makes sense. But yeah, God, I do.
And
love
right
Taurus.
at the top, in the way that they both get to I feel again, just the last We talked about the last 4 elements, Heather. I'm going to ask you again. I know I've asked you before, and I know we've said it before, but you call those the
Universal or
universal
transpersonal. Yeah.
or transpersonal. Thank you. And then the first 4 are called the
personal.
Oh, those are called the personal.
Yeah.
So
So it's dealing
again,
with like identity themes, personal
it makes
matters.
sense to me that it does kind of, ever since we pointed that out, and I don't know if I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's why. But it's really, that's such an element to the signs that I really wish I
Yes.
remembered more.
Yes.
And it needs to be at the front of my head more, because it doesn't always just mean you're an earth sign. There's also a specificness to your lineup, the kind of
Yes.
element you are in your lineup in the like, to
Absolutely.
me, it adds a whole nother layer to this shit, because it doesn't just mean one thing to be a Taurus and a Capricorn. Like, those are 2 completely different earth signs, but specifically of their lineup and the order that they come in the astrological calendar. Like, it makes, it's just so, yeah. And so Taurus still gets to be an earth sign, but still like a personal sign in the way that I do. I don't know. I think Taurus, I'm going to selfishly say it. My dad's a Virgo too, and I love the Virgos, but like, Taurus might be one of my favorite earth signs in general.
I was just gonna
Not that we're picking favorites, but like,
I don't
and I
want to
think
pick
it's because
favorites,
it
but
almost is the least, sometimes the parts of it that aren't earth, I see in me.
right,
I'm like,
right.
that was Pisces of you. Or I'm like, that was watery of you. Like, Taurus can get very emotional still. And it has elements of fire and water and air to it too. Like, it doesn't feel like a strict earth sign. And I think that's why so when I say favorite, I more just mean because I see a lot of myself in Taurus, or like, I love when a fellow homie gets jealous. And again, I think jealousy is it's a bigger umbrella term now, or like, but the sphere of like, I love people who have jealousy and own it. I'm not trying to say Taurus is like a nightmare of like a jealous person, but I think more than not, like, people try so hard to not appear jealous, or they're like, no, I'm not jealous. Or like, it's so important to like, jealousy is a fucking emotion.
It's an emotion.
Just like
it's
happiness,
so natural.
sadness.
It shows that you're passionate and you care.
Thank you. I was going to say, not only is it a valid emotion that like you have every right to pay attention to, and you shouldn't be ashamed of feeling. If anything, we talked about vulnerability, and owning up that you feel jealous is, like, to me, very huge, because if you just like, when we really look at jealousy and what it means, yes, exactly, Heather. A lot of times it's a compass of like what you want. And it's like, oh, that person has something that I desire. And now now the universe has proven it to me that it can be done. So I can no longer make excuses for myself as to why I don't have it. Boom. Like, that's like, when you peel back the layers of it, again, emotions aren't that scary when you know the real context and the roots of them.
Yes, when you can analyze
so
them
I
in
just
that way.
like, I love it, especially an earth sign that allows itself to get a little messy, I should say.
It's
a compliment.
opposite, totally. And it's opposite Scorpio, which I think speaks to this a lot. And so it deals with similar themes to Scorpio. And it's Venus ruled. Yeah, it's about desire. And I can't agree more. I think that as a Taurus moon myself, I think that it's most of the time a feeling of jealousy that catapults me on a mission.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, like a very productive emotion for me.
I'm not afraid of that emotion.
Yeah, no, I'm not either.
I used to also, like, I absolutely, and I get where the shame comes from, but like, it was so much nicer to kick it with someone and put the cards down in a way that was like, you want to kill that bitch too? And it doesn't have to be this like, you don't actually have to mean that. It's more of just like, oh my God, what does that say about us? What does that say about me? I want to look into that. I'm not afraid of looking into that side of myself. And I think that that's really interesting too, that it's because Scorpio, to me, is a sign that's not afraid of its darkness. Not that it like revels in it and wants to sit in it either. It's just very in tune with it. It's not afraid of it in a way that it's able to look at it and go into it and try to understand. It wants to understand it. And in that sense of not like so much like of being in the dark because it wants to escape a little bit, maybe like Pisces can get, which I'm, Scorpio's water too. So who can't? Of course, water can all get there. Can all get a little escapisty. Yeah. But like, it's interesting to me that Scorpio and Taurus are on that polar because of the fact that, like, exactly, Taurus is like an earth sign that's not afraid to get darker or show it's
Yeah.
like, or understand the emotional side of something.
When you have such a strong, passionate desire function in you, like Taurus and Scorpio both have, I think you're gonna come up against jealousy.
Right.
Like when you're someone who like really doesn't just like want things casually, but like when you want something, you want it.
Yeah.
That's natural. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful, I really just do love this sign.
I do
Uh,
too. Yeah. I
and
also
with that, oh, sorry, Heather, go
Oh,
ahead, go ahead.
no,
I
it's
was going to say,
okay. I don't
I
know if
know
I
we
should
need to get
even
to the
say this.
charts.
Yeah, I don't know if I should
I
even
just
say this,
realized.
but when you were
No,
talking
please.
about how you don't want to pick favorites, but like if you like Taurus kind of is like a special earth sign for you. And talking about like the personal relationship and transpersonal signs, I think that because Taurus is a personal sign, it's the earth sign that I vibe with the most.
I think that was also part of my
What you
point.
were
You
gonna
just
say. Yeah.
incredibly articulated it so much better than me, Heather. But yeah,
Because I have such an issue with Earth in my life because I'm an Aquarius who like kind of
same.
hates authority and
Yeah.
like
As a
is just very
Pisces,
I
I hear
don't
that,
like to
brother.
look at things black and white. So
Right.
like
You can't.
yeah. So
It's
when
like you're
it's
asking me
just
to put a filter on that I hate.
yeah,
Makes
yeah.
me look gross. Go on.
Yeah, yeah. So it's easier for me to deal with Earth in the personal realm of like, yeah,
Yeah.
I like nice towels. Yeah, I like nice food. Yeah, I like comfort and coziness.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like working. Don't like being told what to do. Anyway, all right. With that.
No, I love it. Yeah, there again, we're not actually picking favorites. It
No,
is
no.
just like
And I
us
do love all
specifically
signs.
and the way we operate. Yes,
Yeah.
sometimes to me, it's just more of the joke of when oh, you really want to talk about what the opposite of my element usually is earth. And so
Yeah.
it's really funny to me to have so much, again, and this is just like opposites attract, yada, yada. A lot of times the relationships that are very fulfilling to you are with people who sort of maybe like fulfill something that you personally lack. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point. Like it's
Yeah.
we share lives with
Mm-hmm.
each other. We're human fucking beings. It's why we have to know each other's signs at all times.
Yes. Yes.
No, but yeah, I do. It's so again, no shade to the caps, no shade to the
No
birds.
shade. No shade.
But yeah, it is just
Tea,
like
no shade.
I love a messy Taurus when I can get my hands on one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And all the Taurans in my life, we share usually a special connection with music. And a lot of times,
Yeah, same.
I notice their emotions come out and artistically. And I think also like as a Pisces and also, and being an Aquarius, like that's also that's where we connect too. And
Yeah.
like relate that's where have had a lot of deep connections, sharing those types of artsy things with people. And Taurans, I love fucking kicking back and like sharing music with a Taurus.
Yes.
Just throwing it out there.
No, me too.
And
I so agree.
Segueing us into music. You saw what I did there, Heather.
I did. I
didn't
was
plan
great.
that, but it does work out.
It does.
Lizzo.
Yes.
Taurus of my dreams. Really kind of we love saying shit like overnight success because she was in the terms of like the realm of mainstream radio for sure. But obviously no one becomes an overnight success. Sure as fuck not a Taurus. You don't think a Taurus has been putting that fucking
she's
work
been
in
working.
since day one?
Absolutely. You know that she opened for Haim at the Greek Theater back in like 2017 when I first moved to LA. I was going to see her open for Haim. And no one talks about that. No one remembers that. But like then the following year, she was like huge. And I was like, that's the bitch who was just opening for Haim. Yeah.
Did she bring out her flute?
I think so.
Haim?
I think so.
God,
yeah. And I think she was dancing, like doing choreography with them. Yeah.
God, I love Lizzo.
Yeah.
Just what a feel good, like, what a mature fucking Taurus.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And again, owns the messiness, owns the messy parts of themselves because look what because they understand they get to. It's like at that point when you're Lizzo, like, I don't give a fuck about being vulnerable in this song. Like that shit makes me money. Like, look what being vulnerable and open and messy and honest about it. Look where it got me. And I'm also a role model for little boys, little girls of all ages, all people, shapes, sizes, like ages, just like Lizzo is a queen on so many levels. Such a feel good, like elementary kids are bopping to her. My mom bops to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like she really,
it's hard not to like her.
Yeah, she really, it's no wonder she's so mainstream and so huge. Her messaging, her branding, it's also like positive. Um, and very just like what a great like I do feel like it's so funny. I feel like Taurans can absolutely, like we said, get a rep for being stubborn and get a rep for being a little more on the messier side of the earth signs, yada yada. But like Lizzo has clearly been putting that work in since day one. This is not an overnight success just by like the luck of the draw. Like she's been around, she's been putting in the work. Um, she's been passionate about her shit and fighting for herself, and has had her goals in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you get to be a quote unquote overnight success. And like
Mm-hmm.
she's a household name
Yeah.
in like a year.
Yeah. Do you know
That's
how old she is?
crazy. I don't. Let me look it up actually because
Yeah, I
her
feel
chart's right
like
in front of me.
I want to know.
The Heim thing is
Um,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Well, also this chart is crazy actually. This chart is
Please, Heather.
pretty insane. Well, okay, so it's a lot of Earth. So Sun in Taurus, Moon in Virgo, Leo
Mm.
rising. Um
Mm.
fun. But yeah,
Very, that's
the
where the fun.
yeah,
Like
for
she's
sure.
got layers of her fun, and it's like,
Yeah.
there's a little Leo on top. We
There's
knew
a
it.
little spice. But yeah, the sun, Jupiter, and Mercury all conjunct near the midheaven in the 10th house in Taurus. An opposition to Pluto in the fourth in Scorpio is like really major. So this chart is someone who's like very ambitious and
Yeah.
very driven and
She's
isn't
35,
gonna
by
let
the way.
someone tell them they can't make their dreams come true.
Yeah.
35. Oh, okay. So
She'll
she's
be
having a Saturn
turning
square.
okay. She'll be
The
turning 35 on April 27th is her
Oh,
birthday.
okay.
So
Okay.
she's about to be. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. Go
Wow.
ahead.
About to go through a Saturn transition here.
Not a return, but a square, you said,
A
Heather?
square. So that's what happens after
You
the
mind
Saturn return.
elaborating
They
for me
say,
and the
yeah,
listeners?
no, of course. They say that if you aren't going through, like if you're not learning the lessons you're supposed to learn during your Saturn return, you're going to have to deal with it at the Saturn square, which is the next time transiting Saturn hits your natal Saturn, but at a 90-degree angle at 35, 7 years later. So yeah, so you
Ah.
have the Saturn return at 28 and then the Saturn square at 35. And you see a lot of people, I mean, on the reality shows I watch, you see like a lot of people, if they don't get married at 28, they do at 35, or, there's, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
That
But,
is interesting. Okay, a Saturn square,
yeah,
like
yep,
the halfway
it
point
is.
between the
Mm-hmm.
return. Is that
Yeah.
through all of them or specifically this one? Like, does the
So
Saturn square happen?
often, yeah. So like at 7 years old, it's a square. Then at 14, it's an opposition. Then at 21, it's a square. Then at 28, it's the return. At 35, it's a square. At 42, it's opposition. It like circles. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's like 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 90 degrees,
That
return.
tricky Saturn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, I love that, Heather. Yeah, Lizzo just screams Taurus to me, but like it's no surprise that there's Leo rising for sure.
Yeah.
Leo rising just can't be denied. Like you could like Leo rising could just, if someone has that, it's like it really kind of doesn't matter the chart. You're
Yeah.
gonna like go places. You're gonna be like
You
a
have to lead
star.
with courage. You have
Yeah.
to express and lead with courage.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
perceived a fucking boss, essentially is what it is. Yeah, no matter what. So I love Leo rising. Shouts out, Heather.
Thanks. I have to say, I enjoy it too.
Yeah, honestly, I think there's times I'm like, wish I had fire in my 3. I'm like, bitch, you have enough fire in your undertones, and Pisces is enough. Like, you don't need it. Like, you got it. Like, it's
You
silly.
have fieriness. Yeah. You
It's
like
definitely in
to
my chart, but
yeah.
I think there is a part of me that was always a little like, oh, no fire in my top 3. All right, that's interesting. No, yeah, no, I'll take air. Just kidding. I
Air's
think if I was,
fun.
I love air, and my Gemini moon is majority of the reason I'm with a Gemini sun as my partner. Like it really like I see a lot of like what makes sense or just what clicks and works, and there's an understanding that I shouldn't have, but I do. And it's just like so funny to like, yeah, it's really funny how your elements of your chart, even if they aren't maybe always at like the forefront, the way they manifest in your existence with like your relationships or work or just like hobbies. Like there's always nothing's ignored in the chart. Everything has a say.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Everything
Yeah.
in your chart wants to be fucking heard.
Yeah, and the
And
inner
will be.
turmoil we all experience is the
When one's
conflicts with
not,
that,
or
where like
yes,
you're
when they're
putting
all
too much energy into the Mercury but not into Mars, or you're, it's where
yeah,
the energies don't get along. Yeah,
yeah,
it's yeah. The human experience, we
a
can look at
beautiful
it through
awakening.
astrology.
As layered as the galaxy herself, folks.
Yeah, yeah.
And with that, yes, Heather, anything else specifically on Lizzo's chart that stood out to you? I mean, again, this one's so like it's Lizzo. Like
I
it kind
know,
of she speaks for herself. Like
for
it
sure.
just there's nothing about this that surprises me.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
like
yeah. It's just crazy. I've really never seen a chart like
the
this where
chart
you
is
have sun,
wild.
that opposition from Pluto, which is like the biggest, most intense. I was saying the biggest planet, but it's like it's the smallest planet. But like in terms of like energetic importance, it is like heavy. And then having that in opposition, and having it on the angular angles, like the sun next to the midheaven in opposition to Pluto and Scorpio in the fourth. It's just major. It's like she must have grown up feeling like she wants to be this person, and she probably had to deal with a lot of opposition to get there, but at the same time, like a fated moment could have like catapulted her to fame. And yeah, but I expect a lot of transformations from her throughout her career.
Yeah,
with this chart. Yeah,
this chart is wild. Sorry, no,
it's wild.
As I'm looking at it, because I'm still reading the charts all together, Heather, is still kind of new.
Really hard. Yeah.
But like when you say something is is that where like the line is like literally touching from one end to another? So like, correct me if I'm wrong, she has nothing in Pisces, for example.
Yeah, just the node.
Nothing directly touches it.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
But look how much shit her chart does touch. Like, I feel like we've seen, some that are only in here, like just literal, like barely in the chart. Like they're so in one section.
Yeah.
She has so much going on. And I feel like that could not resonate more in a beautiful way.
For sure. No, very so, dynamic. Multifaceted, very multi-talented. Yeah. Yes. But the most significant thing when you look at a chart like this is when you have a bunch of planets right next to the midheaven, the MC, like she has, especially the sun and Jupiter. And then it's connected to another planet on an angle, which with my chart, it's like
that's what that's saying with those like lines out to the
that's like you are meant to experience life in a big way. Like you are meant to like live the extremes. Like often fame happens with like charts like this, or like you're just meant to like live in a grand
way,
mythical, Liz Green
larger than life sort of way.
Yeah, exactly.
Lizzo than life sort of
Lizzo than life. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, really cool chart.
This is the chart of someone who's going to have one name. Lizzo.
Right. Totally.
This is like a Beyonce
especially with Leo. That's like such a Leo chart, rising. Yeah. Oh my God, Beyonce also has Leo rising.
A Cher chart.
Yeah. I know about Cher. I wonder what Cher's a Taurus.
Madonna. Cher is a Taurus. She's on my list.
Yeah.
Madonna is I forget. We did Madonna. Scorpio?
Ooh.
Yeah. Madonna's a fucking Capricorn, right? Fuck, I want to say I thought we did.
I cannot remember. I don't think we did.
No, is Madonna Sag? I'll look it up real quick. The listeners will correct us, but regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this chart. I love Lizzo. Lizzo, sweets. Get on the pod. Girl, what are you doing? Get on the pod. Oh, fabulous. All right, Heather, shall we move on to the next? I'm very excited to see the next chart too. Now, especially with Lizzo's, and just in terms of like a life cut out for stardom
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah, I I feel like I know more about this person than you would think, only because of the Real Housewives, but she's not a Real Housewife herself. Um, Supermodel Gigi Hadid is a
Yeah.
Taurus. Again, a gorgeous
Madonna's son is
Taurus.
in Leo. Sorry.
Oh, Madonna's a
So
Leo.
I was like, there's
Duh.
definitely Leo somewhere. It
That
is her
makes
son.
sense.
Yeah. And I was like,
Of
there's
course
no
she
way we
is.
would have passed Madonna. Like I would
Yeah,
need to cover that bitch on the pod.
right. Of
Sorry. Go ahead,
course.
Heather.
No, that makes
So
so much
sorry.
sense. That's
Had to clear that air.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Gigi Hadid.
Gigi Hadid. Yeah, it's such a thing, you know. They say like Taurus is Venus ruled, it has an affinity for beauty, but it's so funny how often like Taurus people really are just like gorgeous.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially Taurus rising too. They say that the rising sign kind of says something about your yes.
Heather, you're just being nice.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead.
But yeah, they say the rising sign usually like says something about your appearance. But yeah, Gigi is a Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Taurus rising. So double Taurus with an Aquarius moon. And my experience of Gigi, yeah, I think so. My experience of Gigi is mostly from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm very familiar with her mother, Yolanda Hadid. And Yolanda,
is her mom's a
yes.
housewife?
Yeah, not anymore. She was for a few seasons. And it was like at the time when Gigi was like starting to become a model. So like she was still playing volleyball in high school.
I was gonna say, is this why Gigi's famous?
Yeah. So
Her mom was a housewife?
Well, Yolanda was a model before she was a housewife. When Yolanda was young, she was a model. But yes,
I did know. I knew that their mom was a model. I did know that. And I knew it was like sort of nepotism.
Yeah,
so to speak. But like, I did not know her mom was on the Real Housewives. That's incredible.
Yeah, and she's kind of like loony. Like she kind of makes me laugh, but she's also like says the worst, most problematic stuff. Like she'll be like, Gigi, you're not gonna eat that grilled cheese at your birthday party, like shit like that. Like
I've seen clips of this.
Yes, it's like really problematic.
There was like, it was a clip comparing Gigi's mom and Kris Jenner, and like Kris Jenner was like, Kendall was like, I had so much to eat, and Kris was like, what'd you have? And she was like, well, I had an In-N-Out, blah blah blah, like was going down the list and like ate a lot, and Kris was like, like listening to her like, yeah. And that's why I forgot I saw that. They did like a comparison. That's so funny. But yeah, I don't know. If you're a model, it's the shit she was probably put through too. We understand and know better now, obviously, and we're getting away from that. But like,
no, yeah, I know, no. And like, she's always like kind of saying that like Bella's not really I don't know, she's kind of like always like putting down Bella a little bit and like lifting Gigi up, and like, yeah, not my favorite housewife, not my favorite person, but I think it's interesting.
Older?
Gigi's older, yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting
older sister
that
Taurus vibes. Sorry.
Yeah, funny. But Gigi was apparently like, yeah, while she was on the Housewives, she was doing volleyball, and apparently she could have like gone to the Olympics. Like she was in the running to be like a big time volleyball player, which is interesting. Yeah. And then she decided to pursue modeling. But I think it's interesting looking at the mommy issues in this chart with the moon in Aquarius in opposition to Mars in the 4th. There's something there of like a domineering mother. Yeah, because the moon often represents the mom, and then in opposition to the Mars in the 4th house, which the 4th house also deals with maternal issues. And Mars is like the aggressor. There's something about like having a domineering mother that shapes how you deal with your emotions.
I'm looking at her chart.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And then Pluto in the 7th is interesting too. Like there's a lot of power dynamics when it comes to relationships. Is she still with Zayn?
No. And there's a rumor that he's dating Selena Gomez.
But
before that, she's rumored to now be with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
He doesn't commit, right?
No, but he does date girls half his age, so.
Right.
That part checks out. But
That
yeah,
part checks out. They'll
I don't
be
know
over.
if that's official, but I know they've been like spotted together, and there's like rumors of it. Just like it's not official with Selena
This
and
is
Zayn.
tea. Wow.
But they've been also apparently spotted together, and like rumors that they're a thing or
wow.
thing-ish.
Tea.
Anyway, yeah, Leo. Did you know? Side note to that too. Leo dated Blake Lively at one point.
Oh, that makes sense. I did not know that though. But wow.
Wild. I didn't know that either. Anyway,
she's so gorgeous. Okay.
yeah. Ryan and her really do belong together. Can't wait to cover their charts. Go on.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. Yeah. What else? Oh, it's interesting that Venus is in the 12th. You would think Venus would be in like the 7th or something, being a model, but
But a volleyball player first.
True. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Neptune is a conjunct the midheaven. So it does feel like also there's a bit of a sacrifice. We've seen this with other charts, with like celebrity parents, especially, that there's like a bit of a sacrifice when it comes to your public persona. Like maybe, yeah, or maybe the fame is too much sometimes, or maybe she felt pushed into modeling. It seems like she wanted to do it, but I wonder how much
she maybe
felt cornered. Yeah.
Well, like Kendall talks about this on the Kardashians all the time, that like as a model you don't get a lot of say. You don't have your own control in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And to have a mother be that role for like your whole life, and then to go into a career and then with the same energy, yeah, maybe that gets a little fucking annoying.
Definitely.
Or just like heavy, or just like yeah. And then and it's always like, I want to say Gigi was like I don't think her and Zayn were never married, correct? No.
I don't think so.
No, but they did have a baby. And even like I don't know how old Zayn is. I want to say he's like her age. I could totally
or
be
even
wrong.
younger, maybe. I don't know.
But she had that baby at like in her 20s. I want to say mid 20s. I know she's not that far out of her 20s now. I don't know if she's actually 30, but I thought she was always Taylor's age. That's just like where I identify her as. But like when you live these, like same thing with like Kylie Jenner, everyone's like she's having a baby so young, and it's like your life is so fast forwarded.
Yeah. You have all the money. You don't have to worry about the shit we have to worry about. Yeah.
Right. But I also think you're searching for
meaning
normalcy
and normalcy.
yes. Well, yes. And like I wonder if like, you know, not having a say in like your life, and then you kind of just got this career maybe thrusted upon you, or it was just always something you knew you were going to do, or like, and I'm not saying you don't want it, but like, how do you know what you really want if you were always sort of sucked in? And like, it's like the things that you can control and the choices you can make are like, yeah, having a fucking family. The normal things are like the things you can, that you like can't, that you try to carve out. And I feel like us as normies are always looking at really famous people like, why would they do that? Like but it's also like, it's so interesting how we all want that level of fame. I think deep down, everyone a little bit wants to be famous, or at least the money part, right? Not to stress, not to think about anything and the perks of like people screaming your name and liking you. But like, I really think it's so easy for people to not understand the lack of like control, and how, to me, my whole understanding of really famous people, all they want is to feel human again.
Right.
Like there's a huge sacrifice to being famous, and you're no longer considered human. It feels like, and that is an issue with our society and like blah, blah, blah. But like, yeah, I would call that a fucking sacrifice.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, Gigi, sweets, we love you. Come talk this shit out on the pod. That I feel like that makes it sound sad, but no, like
no, I think she's like, good. I mean, she seems very grounded.
Thriving.
She's a grounded Taurus.
I like Gigi.
I do too.
But I really don't like. Yeah, and that one time she got like picked up. Someone like pranked her and like came up behind her and like picked her up when they were, I forget what country they were in at the time, and she like was walking, I think, with Bella, and immediately like swung on that guy, and was like, because she had taken like self-defense classes.
Oh shit, that's badass.
There's a really cool clip of that everyone should watch. It's Taurus as fuck, but
yeah, that is Taurus as fuck. Gigi, oh my god, I love that.
Come on the pod, show us how you did that. Incredible.
Yeah, please. I could use that advice.
What a Taurus season, Heather. Just what a Taurus season we have ahead of ourselves, folks.
Yep. Yep. Big.
It's so fun that we've officially launched.
Yeah. Yeah. Second season of the zodiac year.
Yeah.
Here we come.
Here we come.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead. Horns
Full-
a-blazing.
Horns a-blazing.
Bulls a-charging. Balls to the wall. And all right, Heather, please tell the folks and me some more about this solar eclipse.
Yeah, so it is the first solar eclipse of the year, and it's apparently going to be the biggest, you could argue, the biggest solar eclipse of the year because it squares Pluto, and it coincides with the second new moon in Aries. And I guess solar eclipses are always with a new moon. But yeah, the fact that it's the second new moon in Aries, it's a solar eclipse, it squares Pluto that just entered Aquarius for the first time. Aries has to do with initiating, starting new projects, connecting with your identity through just spontaneously doing new things. And Aquarius deals with newness too, but in a more like, how are we going to innovate, try things in a different way to progress humanity, society? So there's this connection that is really emphasizing newness, and solar eclipse are always emphasizing newness also.
Yeah. And then this new moon.
Right.
Double new moon.
Yeah. New. Yeah.
New is also all about cleanse and then we
Uh-huh.
just it's our last night of fire in this specific new moon and fire, which is all about cleansing.
Mhm.
I'm on my period.
Ugh, I just got over mine. Yeah.
But I did look that up symbolically in the spiritual realm of like, I know they've got some shit to say about this. And I think I always knew. I think I immediately was like, this is a cleanse. And it was sure enough, like, just funny. Anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, what a new cleansing, fresh time. Sorry. Go on,
Yeah.
Heather.
Yeah. So they're saying that this week, especially toward the second half of this week when the solar eclipse is happening, that you might have some experiences, whether it's internal or external, that really just catapults you into something new. Really, it's a good time to reflect on what new experiences you want, what you want your life to look like now according to new values. Values is Taurus. And yeah, like I said last episode, it's the Aries new moon. Then the next day we entered Taurus, which is also very significant because it's like, what is sparking you? And then you can immediately put it into action. With Pluto, though, you might have to have some major transformation. You might have to let some things go in order to make way for the new. But newness, she's a coming. And yeah, I'm really excited.
That gave me chills, Heather. That really did.
It's a year of newness.
This is truly a new time. Like, and I know that, like, not to get too much into it on the pod or devote too much time to it, but like you and I on both personal levels currently have like new things sort of on the horizon in a lot of ways. And like I just think it's a beautiful reminder too of anything that didn't work out. Or anything that you're sort of like, what?
Why didn't that connect or
happen
click?
With that? Right.
Yeah.
I think we're about to get some answers.
Absolutely. Yeah, you put that so well.
A little more clarity.
Yeah. And to add one more thing,
please.
The weird contradictory element of this is that Mercury's about to retrograde as this is happening. And we've been all planets direct for almost 90 something days, something like that, which is rare that we haven't had any retrogrades for a very long time. And now we're going to have our first retrograde with Mercury in retrograde in Taurus. So it's like we're ready to start something new, but Mercury is backtracking a little. So you might have to rethink some things, reflect on some things, but you're also catapulted into newness. The astrologers are like, it's sort of contradictory energy. But on the one hand, you're entering new horizons. On the other hand, you have to reflect certain things think back, like think about how you got there, really maybe rethink
Interesting.
certain methods of how you go about it. But newness is on the horizon regardless.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That
And
spoke
it's
to me.
Taurus. So it's it's
Right.
really
It's
value
about
heavy.
grounding.
It's about like
Yeah.
what do you want? What do you desire? How do you simplify your life and
And
manage
how do
the
we
earth
dig
world?
our heels into that
Yeah,
space?
exactly.
What
Yeah.
a beautiful thing too that it comes so close after. I mean, obviously, I know that we start with Aries, it's fire, but like to follow that up with like Earth, but specifically this Earth, specifically with these transits right now, it's such a loaded time, like
It's a loaded
undeniably
year.
so
Yeah.
wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
so many chills during this episode,
Oh,
Heather. Like,
yay.
really,
I love
I
that.
love it. I really,
Ugh.
really love it. I'm
Astrology
so
gives me
excited.
chills on a daily basis.
Constantly. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Oh, listeners, I hope you got the chill. I hope your titties are just as hard as mine, listeners. But that shit is just like, this is just such an exciting time. It's just exciting.
It is. It is.
I'm
Yeah.
pumped.
Yeah. Yeah. Manifest away. Think about your dream life.
Manifest.
Think about what
Heather,
you really
show
want.
him your shirt. Show him your shirt, Heather.
Manifest.
Yeah, like
I
the
got this at a
big,
thrift store.
hell yeah, she manifested it from a thrift store.
I did.
But yeah, it is. It's just such a big time. It feels like to really dig deep. It's not, we do this every new moon, or we talk about this every new moon. The fact that this isn't just an average new moon. This is just such a loaded time, and it's like a major transitional setup for the rest of the astrological year.
Yeah.
Oh, manifest with your heart, body, soul. Manifest with your ass cheeks. Manifest.
Bringing it back to the ass cheeks. Yeah.
We always bring it back to the ass cheeks. Ah, I love it.
Me
Heather,
too.
beautiful. Listeners, enjoy the beginnings of Taurus season.
Beginnings in general.
We sprung into Taurus. Yeah, beginnings in general, fresh starts, like literally all this freshness too. And I've been walking in the park and like all the blossoms
Flowers are blooming. I know.
like
It's
it
so
literally
pretty.
everything
It makes me
is
so
truly
happy.
alive again and so fresh and new.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. I'm really feeling it, like genuinely in my core. I'm feeling it in my ass cheeks.
Me too.
I love it. I love you, Heather.
I love you. I love
you, listeners. Happy Taurus season to us all. Infinite abundance.
Infinite abundance. Till next time.
Till next. Au revoir.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye.